Today I just kind of want to go off the cuff with different thoughts that have come to mind recently regarding XDefiant. I think with the custom matches that we've recently gotten, a lot of people had their expectations set really high, same way that they did with bomb mode, only for it to kind of be meh. Don't get me wrong, this is a great addition to the game, but I think until it gets more further fleshed out, it's not going to really be anything other than something for the competitive players, the wager players, something like that. I also think that it'll be really good if I can finally find the time to get people together, maybe test out different footstep stuff, test out different techniques and different shit in the game in general. I've also been able to test a couple different things in terms of optimization because of custom games, so I'm definitely very grateful. But overall, I think until we can get bot matches and everything else and see what we really get in Season 3, things are just kind of like very bare bones. And I think that's what's kind of failing to retain the player base. I'm wondering really heavily, are we ever going to be able to get back to where we fell from? When the game first came out, the player base was at an all-time high. The viewership for content creators and everything was at an all-time high. And now it seems like even the biggest content creators within XDefiant are failing to pull in more than a certain amount of views, you know, a couple thousand really, unless it's Blame Truth and he's talking about Call of Duty. Earlier on in the life cycle, I was actually criticizing their marketing tactics of paying streamers to play the game for like one stream, giving them a couple $1,000, they play the game and then drop it after one stream. There was plenty of streamers that were playing it for like a good month when the game first came out on their own volition. Now it's like they gotta pay people to play it. And I'm not trying to knock anybody, get your bag and shit, but at the same time, you know, are these really the people that you want to spend your marketing budget on? People who are just gonna jump ship the moment something else comes out? They're not really there because they truly love the game, so you don't even really know that you're getting like honest opinions. I mean, of course they're going to give their constructive criticisms and everything like that, but they're not here for the long term. They're not looking for a relationship. The average person watching a stream from a Warzone player or from a Valorant player are not going to be the general audience that you necessarily want to bring in to play XDefiant. I think instead of trying to take players from other games, you need to put this out so the average person knows about the game. Like, I'll ask friends that I play other games with, have you heard of XDefiant? Do you know about XDefiant? And they're like, yeah, I think I've heard of it before. I vaguely do. And it's because they know that I make content for it. They've heard me mention it here and there. You know, I'm not the kind of person that is constantly telling people in the game chat, check out my YouTube. I'm more the kind of guy to tell them, check out my OnlyFans. All jokes aside, I really think that a better place to market would be general YouTube ads, TikTok ads, things of that nature, where people are going to be brought in who are just general gamers. You don't want to be trying to create a conflict of interest between one game and another. I don't really think that you should be trying to poach players from other games in general. I think that you should be sending marketing out to the masses for the everyday Joe who would love to play a game that's free, that they might just love, you know, rather than trying to put it in front of these people who are super fans, FPS tryhards, all this other stuff. Because a lot of people I see complaining are like, man, I'm constantly playing stacks. I'm constantly playing cheaters. Like, dude, I've seen like 3 fucking cheaters on this game. The other day, though, I was playing with a couple friends, and there was some guy that was super sus. We were in input-based matchmaking off. I was playing on controller, but they were on keyboard and mouse. And this dude was like 10 times better than Astonished 2K. So, I mean, I think this guy was on a keyboard and mouse using a Zim or some shit and had aim assist on keyboard and mouse. I've played against Astonished. I've played against Lycan. I've played against the best of the best players in this game. And this person was juiced up. I honestly don't think there's nearly as many cheaters as people think that there are, unless you're in the Asia region or perhaps Australia, New Zealand. There are a lot of cheaters in those regions. Overall, though, I think the biggest problem that the game's facing is just retention And on top of that, bringing in new players. I really think that the success of the game is hinging on Season 3 being really big. And there's just so many little bugs in the game. I die from one guy. The little image in the corner of my screen is a totally different player than the one that killed me. You know, all these little things just kind of add up. We've heard about spider bot changes coming. That annoying little shit is still in the fucking game. There's just a bunch of little things, like sometimes your abilities will be delayed. I'm really thankful that we can see the enemy ping on the scoreboard, because I usually leave when there's a player over 100 ping in my lobby. I wish we could get a little bit more transparency on how lag compensation works in the game, but then again, I guess they don't want it to be exploited. So all that I can do is assume that because the guy's got 140 ping, that the game's giving me artificial input delay to make it fair for him. Overall, I really just think that we need more people in general, because that would fix a lot of the connection issues. Most of the time, I say most of the time, I don't have issues when everybody's under like 50 ping in the whole lobby. Everything's smooth. Occasionally there'll be some jank, but usually when it feels really shitty, somebody's got that high ping. On Black Ops 6, which I had a free month of because of a controller that I purchased, ironically to get better matchmaking times on XDefiant, they hide the ping from you on the scoreboard, but you can blatantly see within the kill cams that the enemy's got terrible connection. Interpolation, extrapolation, packet loss, packet burst, excessive masturbation, eating Cheetos in my grandmother's basement. In all reality, I think for there to be an organic growth within the game, content creators have to organically love to play the game. Not just be there for a check, not just be there for whatever. And that requires there to be a massive casual audience for the game, a massive casual player base. Massive. So let me know what you think. Do you think Season 3 is going to save XDefiant? Do you think that there's a possibility that the game could get shut down? Are you enjoying it and appreciating it in the meantime between now and then? You know, at the end of the day, nothing lasts forever. We're all going to fucking die someday.